You're watching McKinney Vision. Online, on air.
Hello, I'm Carl Schuckman along with Mayor Brian Loughmiller for McKinney's Mayor's Minute. And Brian, we have got one huge, as I understand it, pretty terrific announcement to make, don't we?
Yes, we do. We just hired a new city manager, and it's a gentleman named Jason Gray, and he's presently the city manager in Salina, and before that he was an assistant city manager in Frisco for about 8 years.
He fits so well in so many ways. Talk a little bit now. A lot of people are going to say, hey, boy, he's pretty young, but yeah, that brings with it a lot of positive as well as some questions, doesn't it?
Well, I think to me it brings more positives than questions because, you know, when you look at McKinney and you look at Jason, you know, really he fits the demographic of McKinney. You know, we have a wide variety of age groups that live in McKinney, but the reality is the bulk of our population are people that are in their late 30s, early 40s with kids, and you know, Jason's 36 and he has 3 kids, and so he'll understand a lot of the issues for that demographic. And then also the other thing from my standpoint, what was important was, you know, getting stability in the job as a manager. And right now what they'll tell you from a industry standard that most city managers will last anywhere from 4 to 6 years in a city. Well, we've had, you know, 4 city managers in 11 years, right, and it didn't make sense to me to go out and hire somebody that, for instance, might be 62, 63 years old, you know, potentially facing retirement in 3 years, and then be going through this again. With Jason, you know, we had the possibility with, if he does a good job and likes it, that he could be here for the next 15 years.
He's also got the background of knowing what North Texas is all about, and because of his background with Frisco as well, and so it's not like he's coming into this cold and he's going to have to learn the territory. Yeah,
and that's exactly right. Even going all the way back to when he was in college and was doing internships, his internships were in this region, and so he has literally spent his entire career in terms of public administration in Collin County or around Collin County, which is important because he not only knows the region from a business standpoint, he knows the political climate, he knows who the county officials are, he knows who to deal with in Austin, and so he walks in without having any learning curve whatsoever.
And that's something a lot of folks don't realize. If you would, talk a little bit about some of the responsibilities that a manager has. It's not just for the economic engine and the economic growth, but he's got to run a city, and a lot of that's just listening to department heads, isn't it?
Right. He has day-to-day management of the city. We have 860 employees. We have numerous departments, and in addition to doing that and running the city and managing those departments, he also has to manage the day-to-day responsibilities in dealing with funding issues, whether it be, you know, you look at our typical road project at 380. That's a third by the city, a third funded by the state, and a third funded by the county. So he has to be able to navigate those waters and know who he needs to talk to, whether it be an engineer at the county level or somebody at TxDOT, and there are numerous players that he deals with on a regular basis.
And he's got a lot of background with the North Texas toll road situation because he dealt with that right through his town.
That's correct, and you know, they've been working on DNT issues in Salina, and then of course, you know, keep in mind too, like I said, that he has the bulk of his experience was in Frisco when Frisco was growing from 30,000 people to 100,000 people, and so he was involved in everything from when road expansion was happening in Frisco to creating their TIF districts for the mall to developing Pizza Hut Park. You know, a lot of their major projects, he was right in the middle of those things, which is really, you know, fits in well with McKinney with where we are because we're that next wave of growth in Collin County.
realistically, you won't really see a huge impact that he's going to make for a while, because he's going to be listening to a lot of folks and kind of get, so you don't expect anything to be drastic here in the next month or so, do you?
I don't think so. I mean, he's going to obviously have to come in and assess the organization and look at where the efficiencies are, and you know, whatever changes that need to be made, I think maybe more process oriented than anything else. But the good thing is you've got somebody coming in with fresh eyes, you know, very energetic, ready to go to work, and ready to make McKinney the best place that McKinney can be. And even in his statements since he's been hired have all been really going in the direction that we like to see, which is this is not a stepping stone for him. This is where he would like to be for the next, hopefully, 15 years. And we project 15 years out, McKinney's going to be, you know, growing that entire time. We may be built out at 20, 25 years. So.
And that's something that else has come out of this whole process with the announcement of him, is kind of a reaffirmation of where McKinney is and what a plum spot it is to be where we are city-wise right now.
Yeah, and we really, you know, the announcement is hiring Jason, but the process that we went through, I mean, we've been in a search now for in excess of 7 months. We have interviewed people from all over the country. We've interviewed people from others, you know, from the Midwest, from the West Coast, you know, and the reality is that we always kept coming back to the same issue, which is, well, what's the learning curve for somebody who's not from the region? And what does that mean in terms of where we are as far as projects that we're working on right now? Because we have a lot of things in the pipeline right now that we can't afford to take a 6-month hiatus while a new city manager figures out the landscape. And so that's really what led us to Jason and led us, you know, to make that decision, because he came in and he understood the issues, he understood fast growth, and realistically he was ready to step right in and go to work. And even the transition, right down to his schedule of transition that he has set out, he's laid out every single day for the next 30 days as he's transitioning from Salina to McKinney, and that shows a proactive approach to moving forward with the job. So it's very exciting.
It is a very, very big time for us. And that's all the time we've got for this McKinney's Mayor's Minute. We'll see you next time.
See you later.